and welcome to Setting the Bar, where we sit down for a virtual chat with best-in-class operational leaders. Today's episode is all about the future of procurement. What are the biggest challenges that procurement leaders are facing in today's world? How are they tackling them? And what does good really look like? So today, please welcome Istvan, who is the innovation lead within the Procurement Plus team at Accenture. Cheers, Istvan. Thanks so much for joining me.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So I think let's go ahead and launch into the first question, which is, if you could only track one KPI within procurement, what would that KPI be?
That would be the purchase requisition to purchase order turnaround time. We call it internally PR2PO. It's a great indicator to understand how we're balancing agility with due diligence. As a matter of fact, it's so important for us that we decided to change the measurement from days into business hours, and now we have a 20 business hours target globally. Now, having a decentralized and self-enabled requisitioning through Ariba, we have a set of validations built in before the purchase order is fully approved and sent to the vendor. And as Accenture is expanding into new business areas where we purchase new products and services, we need to make it fast. It is very important that the requisitioning process is adjusted to the business need and we respond to the business need. So we need to quickly remove frictions. We need to achieve compliance through automated checks. Predictive analysis is what I'm thinking about, artificial intelligence. This is what we are working towards.
Fantastic. I love what you said about balancing agility with due diligence. Why does this KPI matter? I think you touched on this a little bit, but I'd love to hear more in detail.
Well, it is important how we're framing these questions to our business stakeholders. We need their buy-in and we need them to make steps and work together with us. So we need to be able to visualize the data, explain them why is it important, even compare countries. And when we talked about the 20 hours, like I mentioned, the 20 hours might not be the perfect fit for a particular country because that country can perform better. So we need to understand where is 20 hours the best fit, where are we under, where are we below, and we can balance it out.
Absolutely, it makes complete sense. The third question is actually touching on a really interesting point, which is, what are the most common challenges that you see for these market units that are trying to achieve this KPI?
Well, it might surprise you, my answer, but this is actually habits. I'm quite often heard that we have this process set up in this way for years and it works. Well, of course it works, but it takes just too long, right? And business requires now much faster turnaround time. One particular example, my most favorite one, indeed, is the so-called additional approvers who are added by the PR preparers, the purchase requisition preparers, on top of already preloaded approvers. That prolongs the turnaround time. And often when I ask the question, why did you add these approvers there? They said, well, just because they're always been there. So challenging habits, challenging old processes is the key to start the engagement with the business and then moving towards the solution, how we can do processes better and faster.
Yeah, well, I think you're an excellent company there. I think that habit changing is probably the number one reason for most organizations.
Habits are very hard to change indeed, right? So I mean that is what, and habits tend to come back. That's the reason why you actually have to monitor that whatever you installed, whatever you deployed, I mean, process changes, automation, they actually work. Often we see that something which previously we thought that an automation could be a help, could be helpful, it's not working as expected. I mean, it's time to step away from one size fits for all automation and move towards targeted deployment of the best possible automation tool.
Well, I couldn't have said that better myself. Thanks so much for joining us, Istvan, and thank you all who are watching today's episode of Setting the Bar. Cheers. Have a good rest of your day.
Cheers.